Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. At that time, Jesus came to Jericho and intended to pass through the town. Now a man there named Zacchaeus, who was a chief tax collector and also a wealthy man, was seeking to see who Jesus was. But he could not see him because of the crowd, for he was short in stature. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree in order to see Jesus, who was about to pass that way. When he reached the place, Jesus looked up and said, "Zacchaeus, come down quickly, for I must stay at your house." And he came down quickly and received him with joy. When they saw this, they began to grumble, saying, "He has gone to stay at the house of a sinner." But Zacchaeus stood there and said to the Lord, "Behold, half my possessions, Lord, I shall give to the poor. And if I have extorted anything from anyone, I shall repay him 4 times over." And Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a descendant of Abraham. For the Son of Man has come to seek and to save what was lost." The Gospel of the Lord. Here in this Gospel, Luke describes 2 people who went up a tree and out on a limb for each other. Zacchaeus goes up a tree and out on a limb to find Jesus. And Jesus goes up a tree of the cross, out on the limb to die for the salvation, to save Zacchaeus. And then there's Eleazar Maccabees in his 90s, who stood for his faith at the cost of his own life. In his own way, he went up a tree, not knowing Christ at the time, but he would die for the Lord God he knew as the Father of all. Eleazar Maccabee would say, "Should I pretend for the sake of a brief moment of life to lead many astray by this pretense?" Each of these 3 characters exercises the quality of heroic virtue. I know people who have lost their jobs because of faith. They went up a tree and out on a limb for Christ. I know young people who have been rejected by friends, boyfriends and girlfriends even, because of a moral life they chose to embrace for Christ. They went up a tree and out on a limb for Jesus. I've known people like James Foley who have died for their faith in martyrdom because they went up a tree for Christ and out on a limb. Indeed, all of us will eventually be compelled to have the opportunity to go up a tree and out on a limb for Christ. Eventually, it'll happen. And our heroic deed will be rewarded by the one who went up a tree and out on a limb to save us all. Because today salvation has come to this house.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui aquam merum isti portare, resurrexit sicut dixit.